What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Get Sharp, where I sharpen your knives. I've got a good one for you today, or at least a special one to me. One of my best friends sent over his kitchen knife set, and I saved the best for last. I've got the carving knife. Oh yeah. This bad boy is 8 inches. It's definitely dull. He's been putting it to work. But what an important knife, right? This is the one you use to carve off those slices of fresh meat. The last knife to touch a piece of meat before you put it in your mouth. So I'm going to do him a solid, and I'm going to push this thing to the limit and put the sharpest edge I can on it. And I got some, if you stick around to the end, I got something special to show you for an upcoming video. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we need to set up our self-centering knife jig. Alright, boom. We're locked in place. Next step, let's go ahead and get our stone nice and wet. And while that's getting wet, I'm gonna go take a sip of beer. I'll be right back. Alright, she should be nice and wet now. I did sharpen a whole set this morning, so she's still got some water in her. Alright, we gotta set the angle. I'm gonna just do a quick cheat here with the angle setter. This thing's actually pretty nice. It's quick and easy to use. Go ahead and lock in that length. And lock in my support bars. So I just locked in a 15-degree angle right there. My game plan with this one, I want the slicing edge to be 17 degrees. Now this particular knife, when used properly, a carving knife, you're cutting cooked meat. So, not chopping bones here. We're slicing hopefully super tender, super juicy meat, but we want that slice to be flawless and without resistance. So with that said, I'm sticking with a lower degree here. I contemplated 15 as my my slicing edge, but I thought to myself, I'll put 15 as the primary bevel, and then I'll finish it with a 17-degree secondary bevel, and maybe that'll, it'll be a couple years before I see this one again. Now that slightly steeper secondary bevel should add to the longevity of the blade durability. But anyways, we're all set. The only thing I'm not sure of, I did run a lot of blades against this thing, so it's probably, it feels pretty smooth. We're gonna roughen it up a little bit. And we're gonna turn to our trusty 80 grit diamond plate. I'm probably going to start switching over to 120 or a 240 diamond plate. This one's quite aggressive. Before we get started, let's go get the current sharpness. Got our trusty U line paper here. And we've got hair on the 1. Nope, nothing on the 2. The heel's got a little bit of edge left, but still, it's hair. We'll put the rest of that page down for later. But I'm going to put on this one. There's evidence here of someone attempting to sharpen this over the years. Dressing with that 80 grit diamond plate should allow me to aggressively remove steel off of this blade. And in fact, that's exactly what it did. That's got something weird going on with the bevel on the heel. I'm gonna go ahead and address that real quick. There we go, that's looking better. This side's dang near perfect. Let me show you. Alright, let's just do a couple more quick passes and then we'll take it to the Japanese honing wheel. That 80 grit stone really allows me to make quick work of this knife. I need a little extra time on the heel. The heel doesn't get as much grind time as the rest of the knife. So it's actually pretty common that you'll have to go back over it. There we go, that looks good on that side. Alright, so we're going to start out with some extra time on the heel. And we're skating right off. And as we approach the tip, we're going to get ready to pivot. Boom. That sounded real good. I don't know if you can hear the humming go from worry. That was terrible, but that's kind of what it sounds like on my end. Alright, let's put the honing stone on. Lock her in place. Lock her in place. There we go. And should just be a couple minutes and she'll be soaked. I like her when she's nice and wet. While she's getting wet, let's take off some of that old steel. Well, it's about time for another sip of beer. Alright, so before I get started on the honing process, I need to ensure that I'm now at a 17 degree angle. The primary bevel we just did was 15. I had to move it quite a bit right there, which is unusual. So before I take her to the stone, I'm gonna do a quick test. This is the, I guess what one would refer to as the ink test. Just get your bevel nice and inked up. Lay it down and move the stone by hand. Let me show you what happened. So hopefully you'll be able to make out a little silver stripe right on top of all that ink. And that's the scratch test I just performed. That lets me know that my angle is correct, as it's not impeding on the bevel I just created. It's just slightly above it. Alright, the honing wheel is all set up. It's at the right angle, and it's time to take this thing to the limit. And in our case, that limit's 17 degrees, but we want to achieve razor sharpness. Alright, let me zoom in for you. Little extra time on the heel. The heel doesn't get to travel from the left side of the stone all the way to the right side. So that's why it's good to spend some extra time, because think about it. How long does it take to get from here to here? That was about 5 seconds. And that's also why some people's tips can get all messed up. It's because they start with the tip over here and they put 5 seconds on the tip, and that's too much. They get really weird looking. I don't have a drip tray over the top of my Tormek, so I don't prefer to go this way and carry the water over it. But someone's 3D printed a water tray catchment system. They want like 40 bucks for it. I'm tempted to buy one. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. We're gonna do another pass on this side, and I think she's done. She's done. Alright, I'm super happy with the way this is looking. Like I showed you earlier, I've got a good strong primary bevel and then a small little streak of silver running across the very apex of this knife here. And that's my 17 degree secondary bevel. That's going to be what's cutting up. But yeah, she's sharp. Cool thing about this Japanese wheel here is she always takes the burr off. So all I got to do is a couple swipes of the Stropping Block and we're good to go. But I bet you she's already super sharp. So a moment ago we took a couple test cuts and we tore the paper. Let's see what happens before we even hit the Stropping Block. Little snag there at the bottom. Jesus Christ. I could hand this thing to him right now and he'd be happy. You can't even get them this sharp when you buy them out of the box. I promise. I've checked. Look at that. Confetti. It's confetti. So much fun. Look at that. Made a nice little circle there. Yeah, but we're going to go sharper. I told you, we're pushing this one to the limit. When I strop, I use the same technique that I use on this. Let me explain. So when we get the jig on here, you want to rotate the jig left to right while keeping it level, as opposed to going forward or backwards with it. If you've got any experience with this thing, you know what I mean. With stropping, it's the same thing. I need to pivot upwards to get the tip and then come back down. So as I'm pulling, I'm doing this motion. That way I can get the curve of the tip all the way to the heel. Did a couple exaggerated shots there so you can understand the movement. Alright, I bet you this thing's fucking sharp now. 3-finger test. Oh yeah. I feel one little imperfection right here. Now I made a mark on here so I can go back and look at that later. I'm not going to waste your time with it. But for some reason there's one spot that's a little messed up right there. Sorry about that. Ran out of memory on my drive there. Well, she was cutting this pretty easily a minute ago, and then we just stropped it, so now it should be ultra friggin' sharp. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Happy with that. I got something special for you. We're gonna do a test on a feather. So look at that. Special shout out to my baby bird Ace, who grew this for us. Alright, memory card's about to die. Thank you again for joining me at Get Sharp.